In this video, we are going to do clouds using a wet on wet technique. I'm using a large brush to very quickly saturate the paper. This is a good time that if you have one of those 1-inch flat brushes, you could pull that out. And I am again working at an angle, and I've just wet the entire surface. And now I'm going to switch over to my round brush, either your 10 or your 12 round. And I also have some clean tissues handy. And I'm gonna go right into my palette, into my well of cerulean, and I'm gonna go ahead and start putting it down. Similar to the wet on dry paper, I'm gonna kind of paint around where I would like the clouds to be. I'm not going to paint the entire paper blue and then try to lift the clouds out, because I really want some of the very, very white paper to be maintained. And I'm gonna go ahead and have those there, and then I'm gonna go underneath. So this is really similar to my last one. And you guys are gonna see this, and you're gonna say, oh, this was so much easier. Why didn't we do this in class? Because I want you guys to learn lifting and kind of learn all the principles of it, and maybe get the harder one down first, so that this easy one is really easy then. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit more cerulean across the top where I want it to be very dark, and then just a touch more on the bottom. It's still very wet. You can kind of see, maybe I missed some of the water down here. Okay, and then I can go ahead and take my clean tissue and very gently lift off a little bit of that blue where it's seeping in, but you get very nice puffy clouds this way. And then once again, let's see, I've got a little bit of a dark spot right there. I think that that's probably just pure pigment from the palette. Very gently lift that off. Right here in this middle, I'm gonna lift that off too. And then across this bottom, I have mixed up a different neutral for the bottom of these clouds. I mixed up some of the French ultramarine and the cadmium. Depending on what paint brand you're using, make sure you test this out on a little bit of a small piece of paper. Sometimes when you mix the French ultramarine and cadmium, it looks very orange. So sorry, let me clarify. This is cadmium orange and French ultramarine. Of course, we know that our blue and our orange are going to be opposites on the color wheel, so those are going to make the neutral. And I'm just going to really gently lift a little bit of that out here and there. But the paper's really wet, so it's still kind of traveling. The water that's on that paper is still pulling the pigment into some different directions. Let's just get this just a little darker in a few spots. So French ultramarine, cadmium orange. Like I said, kind of test that out. You always want to put your darker side on the bottom of the clouds, not on the top. And just make sure that whatever you have down for your neutral, it doesn't look green. We don't want these to indicate a tornado. Across the top, this is drying, and you can kind of start to see where some of the lighter patches are. So I'm going in with some more of the cerulean. The brand of cerulean that I'm using, it's the QOR brand. It's a beautiful shade of cerulean. It still granulates nicely, but it is a really pretty blue sky that you get with this one, with this brand. And again, I'm just gonna put a little bit more of the cerulean onto the bottom. I don't really want the heavy part of the cloud to travel much more, so in just a second, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the angle. Okay, let's see here. Keep going. I think this value is okay, the differences between the two. I may want to get this bottom just a touch darker. And I'm going a little bit right up to where that underside is, just to push. What this will do as I add this in is it's going to push this mix, this neutral mix, a little bit up into the cloud, just a touch more. And similar to what I did on the last one where I just took, sorry, didn't mean to shake you guys. When I took just a little bit of the cadmium yellow and the rose just to make just a touch of this very light pinky color. I'm gonna just add this in. Give it just a little bit more shape, lift a little bit out. This again will dry a little lighter than it looks going in. Let's see, I think I'll make, again, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Let's do this one more time. Just a little bit more yellow and a little bit of the pink. And I'm just gonna add this in. Maybe the sun is kind of hitting these clouds just right. Give it that pink color. I don't want to go too far over the blue because it does have that yellow in there. I just don't want any green clouds, but I do want just a little bit of color to break up some of that white. So I'll just add that in. Let's see, kind of lift that off just a touch, soften here. And maybe just add just a little bit more pink on this. I'm going to the right side of each cloud on all three. So I have kind of a direction of light. There we go. Okay, I think that's it. Let me just see if I can smooth out this dark spot right there. Oh, got a little yellow there. It's okay. All right. So this is wet. This is clouds using wet paper and wet paint. Enjoy.